Well then, that just leaves us one more bit of business, doesn't it?
It does.
Well then let me get ready and you intro us in.
Welcome to our end of week quiz here. The quiz where one of our contestants has no clue what he's about to answer questions about, and our host has put together a devious quiz in which a majority of the time we will finish 50% or less. Hall of Fame baseball number, not so great on a test score potentially, but there got to be a curves here somewhere.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think it's a good sign of the knowledge we have of each other's sports depth, like the knowledge we have depth-wise of the sports, that we can kind of keep it at a good, challenging difficulty rating. That being said, it's a smaller quiz today, inspired by the record transfer fee that the LAFC paid for Son Heung-min. I decided to do a little digging into some other record contracts, big numbers in terms of our local sports. So maybe this will be an easy one, maybe not.
Oh, local sports. This is interesting. Well, let's see where this goes. I'm sure there is a trap awaiting for me.
I have one that I would consider tricksy, but this first one I think is probably the closest to a gimme. But we'll see. Who is the highest paid Colorado athlete currently?
Nikola Jokic by a long shot.
Fantastic. Do you know the number off the top of your head? And I'll give you a bonus point.
So currently, I think he is making like $325 million, if I remember correctly. It's somewhere around that $325 million mark.
He's on a $276 million extension onto, I think, whatever his previous was. So yeah, you are 100% correct. Nikola Jokic of the Nuggets makes $55 million a year on his $276 million 5-year contract.
Is it wrong if we do our metrics in Nathan McKinnon's?
In Nathan McKinnon's. Nikola Jokic makes 3.5 Nathan McKinnons a year on his... Now, here's the fun thing that I was going to kind of try and catch you on. Nathan McKinnon actually not the bottom of the list of biggest contracts of our big four teams.
Biggest contracts?
Yeah, so if we went like Rockies' biggest contract, Broncos' biggest contract, Nuggets' biggest contract, Avs' biggest contract, we know Jokic is on top.
Like, depends on how we do the number. If we're doing it like a yearly thing, or if it's per like the whole total contract. Yeah, because Nathan McKinnon's 12 for, what do we get him for? Like 100 years, 10 years?
It's an 8-year deal that Nathan McKinnon is writing.
Yeah, so that's $72 million. And I think that would probably, the Rockies one is Bryant, who made 300 some million somehow doing what he's done.
I think that might be his career. His current Rockies one is 182 million.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I would be weird that he isn't the bottom, because the Broncos one would have to be bigger.
You would think, but our current biggest contract of players actively on the Broncos roster. Russell Wilson kind of skews the Broncos data.
Sure.
Mike McGlinchey is currently the biggest salary cap hit to the Broncos roster. He is making $23.5 million on an $87.5 million 5-year deal. Nathan McKinnon only makes $12.6 on a $100 million 8-year deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm curious. I don't know if that's true anymore, because we just signed Zach Allen too. Zach
Allen is third on the spending list for this season.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny bunch at the top 5 of the Broncos salary cap right now.
Interesting.
But yeah. So that is question number 1. Question number 2. How many times has a Rocky been the highest paid player in the league?
In the league?
In the league.
Jeez, that is... The answer should be none. That's what the answer should be, but I could foresee them, so I would guess...
I'll go ahead and give you a little GM guidance here on this. I have a few of these questions coming. All of them are going to be one hand number or less.
One hand number or less.
5 or less,
yeah. I would assume it's probably like twice, and I would assume the player that we would have broken off most recently, quote unquote, would have probably been like Larry Walker at the top of like we had him at the height of his career. So I would assume it would have been him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with twice.
Close. 3 times altogether, but I could give you a little wrinkle for the twice, because the instances are not Larry Walker. Larry was never the highest paid player. Todd Helton was for the 07 year at $16.6 million. That same year in New York, Jason Giambi, who would later be a Rocky, was making $23.5 million, was the highest paid player in the American League.
First basemen were at a hot commodity back then, or what?
Todd Helton was, I think, finished like 4th in MVP voting that previous year or something. So he got a new one. The most recent one, who no longer plays for the Rockies, Nolan Arenado.
I was going to say Nolan was...
His $35 million for the 2023 season that we technically were paying him, even though he was with Cincinnati, was tied with that one. Thank you. Was tied with Strasburg at the top of the league for that one. So now, similar vein here. How many times has a Colorado Ave been the highest paid player in the league?
Oh my gosh. That one's a tougher one. If it's one hand or less, 5 or less, 4 times would be my guess, because there's so many good, that's a good, there's always been someone else better. McDavid's always kind of topped McKinnon. McKinnon's never been the highest paid person. He's been close, but he has been maybe his highest paid for a day or whatever, a day or a week.
I'm going to go ahead and pause your thinking out loud there, because you said the right number and I won't let you talk yourself out of it. 4 is the correct answer. I would love to hear your stab at which 4, though.
Which 4?
Yeah.
Peter Forsberg feels right for me.
Mm-hmm.
In the league, McKinnon probably was at for some amount of time. Sakic, maybe. Maybe we paid Sakic first.
You have nailed all 3. Forsberg did it twice.
Yeah.
Joe Sakic, 97-98 season, was making $16.4 million, which, if you'll notice, much more than any of the players he has been in charge of as a GM.
He's no sucker.
Peter Forsberg, after the market resets in the 2000 season, was the highest paid player for the 2001 season at $10 million, and then for the 03-04 season, his $11 million was also tied for league lead. Nathan McKinnon, for the 23-24 season, when his extension first kicked in, was my highest paid player in the league. He was taking home 16.5, but his cap hit was only the 12.6 or whatever. And then final version of this, how many times has a Nugget been the highest paid player in the league?
My instinct wants me to say 0, just initially, because there's Jokic is paid an extraordinary amount of money, but he's not the highest paid
in the league. Yeah,
depending on what we're going by highest paid, either per whole contract or even per year. It'd have to be per year, so he's definitely not. 0. I don't think there's any. The only one, it would have to be way back when, potentially an Alex English or something, when they were paid not nearly as much, but you would be considered high. But I couldn't imagine. Melo was never highly paid. Jokic isn't highly paid. Chauncey was under Melo. Allen Iverson had a very big contract when we traded for him. That would be the only one, potentially, maybe. But LeBron was still young in the league. Kobe was around, though, so I'd expect Kobe to be paid more.
There were a few other stars in that
Kobe
era.
to be paid more than Allen Iverson even still then.
I'll go ahead and say there is one time that a Nugget has been the highest paid player in the league, and your first thought was correct. It was in the old days. It was David Thompson.
Yep, Skywalker.
At $800K for the 78-79 season.
Because, that would make sense. He was somewhere in there. He was an MVP caliber level player. He was the best player in the NBA before things started to take a turn for him, as they sometimes did back in those days.
Indeed. So you're 2 of 4 so far, and I've got one more question left. So this will be the decider on whether you finish over 500 or not. Who has the largest NHL contract of all time? Was that Wayne Gretzky, Alex Ovechkin, Leon Draisaitl, or Joe Sakic?
Of all time?
All time. Throughout the history of the league, who has signed the biggest contract?
Not Gretzky. Him and Sakic are too old for what because the cap is, I would assume, exponentially grown since then.
We'll get into the history aspect of it here after.
Realistically, much like Michael Jordan himself, he should be the highest paid, but I know he's probably not. It's Gretzky. Ooh.
Yeah, Gretzky probably made more money over his career, but not off his contract.
Not off his contract for sure. Who are the other, Draisaitl or Ovechkin? That one's tough. Ovechkin is worth a lot of money. He is a bazillion years old in the hockey realm. But I think because Draisaitl just re-signed, so I think that should be the top of the top.
Well, you were narrowed down to the correct final 2. Unfortunately, you did choose the wrong one. It is, in fact, the old Russian machine, Alex Ovechkin, who in 2012 signed a $124 million 13-year extension to beat out Draisaitl's current $112 million deal.
But he's for less money, but for less time.
Yes. Draisaitl definitely has the better deal. He is doing $112 million over 8 years. So average value would be Draisaitl, but
totally.
Take home money, Ovechkin still the king. You'll notice a little trend through that the numbers back in the old Avs days were already kind of trending up to what our current players are making at the top end of the scale.
Yeah, like Sakic was making 13 some million, which
he made
close.
16 back in 97, and no player has made over. I mean, they're crawling their way back into the teens right now. And that was all thanks to the 04-05 shutdown.
Which we learned about last week.
And that's how we're getting a broader understanding of our sports landscape through our fun little history detours here. The 04-05 lockout reset the entire market when they came back.
That's crazy.
The new rule was that no player could make more than 20% of a team's cap. So the max contract got tied to what the salary cap of the league was.
I assume that's no longer true.
Nope, it still is.
Really?
It still is, and is the only reason the contracts are starting to crawl up now, because the cap is finally like getting back to the previous like 90s, 2000s era.
That seems wild to me that any sport would have you cannot pay this person more than this,
which helps explain why the hockey contract landscape is the way it is.
I mean, it is good for the teams in the league because that really makes it like a very competitive landscape.
You can't do an LA Dodgers and just overpay a bunch of guys because you can't give Draisaitl or McDavid more than 20%.
You can't shoot yourself in the...
Yeah, it kind of keeps the GM from being able to just sink the team.
Yeah, I'm going to pay this one player $1 bazillion, and that is my cap. He gets the Colorado Eagles with him the rest of the way through.
Yeah, basically. So that is our closing quiz this week. A solid 2 out of 5.
There's some extra credit points in there somewhere. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. We had you were in the ballpark for a lot of it.
I got the extra credit stuff. It's just the regular.
The main question.
The makeup for the misses on the other questions. I got. That's all I'm out.
Yeah.